Wisconsin is home to 11 federally recognized Native nations.
And today is a day to recognize the historical, cultural, and modern day significance Indigenous people have in the region. News 19's Crystal Flintrup explains how the La Crosse area is celebrating this Indigenous Peoples Day.
There was a full day of events in La Crosse throughout Monday. It was kicked off in the morning by a flag-raising ceremony and a proclamation from the mayor. In the La Crosse Center, you could find a variety of Indigenous-made items to buy, but you could also learn how to make a few items yourself. There were also games, educational materials, and performances. This event and day are so much more than just a celebration.
It is essentially a punctuation mark of a long-standing effort to correct one part of history, which we once knew as Columbus Day. A lot of history has happened in terms of our ancestors and our older relatives who have worked against miseducated institutions to correct history and finally be recognized as Indigenous Peoples Day.
He goes on to say that this event is a way to share their cultures with the general population while showing how they are preserving these sacred items and traditions that have been passed down for generations.
All right, thank you, Crystal. There was also a lacrosse tournament, the sport, that took place in Riverside Park, marking the second year this traditional game has been played on the waterfront in more than 200 years.
Governor Tony Evers also addressing the state today, celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day.
We celebrate the generations of resilient tribal communities, rich cultures, languages, and traditions that have formed deep roots here since long before Wisconsin became a state. Wisconsin is home to 12 tribal nations, and as governor, maintaining a government-to-government relationship with the tribal nations will always be one of my top priorities.
In 2019, Governor Evers signed an executive order to annually designate the second Monday in October Indigenous Peoples Day in Wisconsin. Today marks the 6th consecutive year it's been celebrated in the state.